One of the greatest joys of a meh coffee is that understanding why it doesn't work for you. Like the intimate details of why that coffee isn't special to you. That's what I went through with this Ethiopian coffee. I was excited, truly excited when I first started to drink it. And then after one brew, two brews, three brews, something about it was off. Not that it wasn't a bad coffee, it was just something that it didn't really gel to me. I didn't really know what it was. I truly, really didn't know. I was getting a little frustrated. So I sat there for a little bit, contemplated why it wasn't working for me, and then I just went to work. I brewed it this way, that way, on this device, that device. I brewed it with this grinder. And then it started to come alive a little bit. But for the most part, it was still meh. And then after a while, instead of getting frustrated, I started to see if I can really figure out this coffee. Of course, I tried all the things that I normally do with coffee, but this one made me go down this rabbit hole of trying almost damn near everything. And then when I went down that road, the coffee just didn't really do anything for me. So I put it down, come back, brewed it again. And then what I started to do or started to notice is that the coffee was different. See, this is a white honey coffee. I don't really know if you know what that means, but that's just the way it's processed, right? And it's from Ethiopia, it's an heirloom and all that good stuff, right? So we're going to expect greatness from it. And what I was getting from this coffee was a Meyer lemon softness to it. The aftertaste was just fleeting. And as it was fleeting, I started to get more uninterested with this coffee. Then I started to notice the drawdown, how significantly slow it was. I'm sure it's some high elevation and all that good stuff, right? But at the end of the day, it just really wasn't working for me. But then I kept noticing more things, like how this coffee liked to be presented either at a 1:18 ratio and sometimes at a 1:15 ratio. It worked really well with the AeroPress. It was a little bit more clearer, understandable with the CP6. So then I just started to understand that this was more so like a lemony chantilly type of beer, if that makes any sense. It had that like richness aftertone to it. But then as I kept drinking it, I started wondering why this coffee wasn't really working for me. I started to think of all the things that I was going through with this particular coffee, why it wasn't gelling for me. Because it wasn't gelling for me. That doesn't mean necessarily that it won't gel for you. And as I sat there and pondered and wondered why, I started to think about what I don't like about this coffee. What are some of the characteristics that would help me later on? Again, I didn't have this realization in the beginning. I was too excited. I wanted to see what that essence was because it's been a long time since I've had an Ethiopian coffee. So I started picking apart. I know if I went too high on the grind size, if I was using a booster, that I'll push it towards more so like a grapefruity type of aftertone. And I started asking myself why I don't like those type of flavors. What was not gelling with this Meyer lemon type of taste of the coffee? Probably because it was one notey. Probably because as soon as it touched your palate, it died off. Those are some of the things that I started to remember, start to not necessarily geek out on, but more so take an observation on. I was there just thinking about why it wasn't working for me. Why we need these coffees actually. Because I know you're going to encounter that too. The meh coffee, the okay coffee, the coffee that doesn't talk to you. Again, I always try to bring it back to people. And as I tried to understand this coffee even more, it does remind me of that stubborn person. And you keep talking to them. You're just trying to get something out of them, trying to get to know them. And they're not really saying much. And then towards the end of the conversation, or a couple of times that you meet this person, you're still getting frustrated with them because you're the only one who's talking. You're the only one who's doing the work. But secretly, you don't realize this, is that that's as open that person's going to be to you. That's how expressive they're going to be to you. That's what reminds me of this Ethiopian white honey coffee. Probably was saying a lot. Probably was telling me exactly who it was. That's the thing that allowed me to pay attention a little bit more to the coffee. To see it for what it is. To see the way to use that drawdown, to use the one-hit wonder of the lemony type of taste to my advantage. See, it got to the point to where I can start to manipulate how much of that aftertaste I wanted, or how much less of it that I wanted, depending on the application. I can start to pick it apart a little bit. I can start to see for what it's good for. Did I mix it? Probably here and there. But again, I like to try coffees for what they are for a very long time to see what else they're going to tell me. And that's the thing about these particular coffees right here. Even though it's probably not going to be the best coffee that you've ever had, you're going to probably be more frustrated with it. I guess the biggest takeaway with this particular coffee, because they all smell great. I do smell that lemony type of Meyer lemon taste to it, that varietal, is that you're not going to like everything. And as much as I love to be in that place of understanding when it comes to seeing the joy in every single coffee, there are going to be coffees like this Ethiopian for me, this medium roast Ethiopian coffee for me, that it just doesn't work. And now that I've understand myself with the experience and the knowledge that I have in order to bring out the best out of that coffee, one of the biggest experience that I've come to right now is that I can explain exactly why it doesn't work for me. I can tell you that I'm not so much of a fan anymore of that one-hit lemony flavor. I know there's been times in my past where that was the only thing I geeked out on, because that's what coffee was to me. Like this magical thing that you'll get that acidity just right in your face. Again, this coffee may work for other people. They may find the joy and the excitement from it. But now, as I talk about this and try to figure this all out, is that I can explain to you exactly what I don't like about it, why it's not special. I'm not saying that the coffee's not special. It's just not special to me. And as much as I love to tell you why that Colombian coffee was special, that just like talked to me, just like kept going and give me all these different notes and different flavors as it cooled down and everything, this one didn't. As when it was hot, I would taste that Meyer lemony taste. And as it cooled, it was still there, more pronounced a little bit more. I didn't like that. I like my coffees to change as it cools. That's my personal preference. That may not be yours. And we just start to pick it out and try to figure it out and try to see other things that we like about it, don't like about it, the reasons why. I started learning more about drawdown. I started wondering about how I'm not too scared about it going over 3 minutes for the brew. Actually going a little bit finer on the grind. Letting the coffee speak to me, tell me exactly what it wants me to do. That's the things that you don't learn so much from a coffee, that when you throw it in the brewer, it produces magic. We need these meh coffees, these mediocre coffees, these coffees that are not gelling with our palate. But at least we know exactly why it's not working for us. And when we understand that, we know those intimate details of why it's not going to work for us. That's probably more important than you think. I will tell you that I've gotten better with being a brewer, understanding the coffee, thinking about the water chemistry of bringing out different things, bringing out, lower down that acidity by doing something with the water, bringing in a little bit more sweetness. Those are the things that I was doing. Those are the things I was practicing. Those are the things that allowed me to keep pushing through, because I was trying to find the greatness in this coffee. And as I brought everything out, the kitchen sink and all, I understand exactly why it doesn't gel with me. I understand exactly why the little tips and tricks that I have learned with this coffee that I can take with me with any other coffee. So if you have that coffee that's just meh, that's just okay, don't discard it. Don't freeze it. Don't throw it away. Don't make cold brew out of it. I kid. I know people love cold brew. I'm sorry. I like it sometimes too. Stay with the coffee. Stay with it just a little bit longer. Step back. Ask yourself why you like that coffee. What are some of the characteristics that you do like about it? What are some of the things that you really don't like about it? Because really what you're doing here is that you're just sculpting and shaping your palate. You're not just saying that it's bad. You're explaining exactly why it doesn't work for you. So then when you get to another coffee that's probably more so similar, through the tricks and the tips and the knowledge that you have, you know that you could probably bring out the best in that coffee. You can probably find something about it that just gels and works for you. So let's rejoice in the meh coffees, to the basic coffees, to the coffees that don't tell us anything. Because truthfully, that's how we're shaping our palates. That's how we're shaping the way that we look at things in life. I think so. Let me know what you think. Talk to you later. Bye.